This panel here is the 12-volt panel and supplies the power to the motorhome. You switch it on by pressing that button. The 3 buttons here, that first button actually switches the 12-volt power supply on, so you need that on. This button here is for the water pump and puts pressure to the tap, so if you don't have any pressure come out of the taps, just check that that's on. This third button on the end is for the light outside the motorhome. If you switch the pump sign on and the pump runs for a few seconds, that's perfectly normal. If you have used all of the fresh water and the tanks run dry, the pump will keep running. So make sure that you switch it off and fill the tank up. When you switch it back on, it will take some time for the air to come out of the system, so you need to switch one of the taps on and it will splutter a bit, but it will eventually fill up. If it doesn't stop pumping for more than a few minutes, then please give me a call and we'll just check that there isn't another problem. These symbols at the bottom just indicate levels. So the first one just shows the battery level for the car battery. The second battery shows the leisure battery. And the third symbol, which is the one that you need, shows how much fresh water you have left, so that's full. When it gets down to the red marks, this line here will start flashing. This symbol here indicates the wastewater. Now there isn't any display to show you how full or empty it is, but if it does illuminate and you get a little line next to it, it means that the tank is nearly full and you need to empty it. The tank is slightly less than the freshwater tank, so you'll probably have to empty that before you need to top up with fresh water. When you put the electric hookup in, this symbol will come up and you'll get the little green illumination button, which means that you've now got a power supply to the motorhome. If you plug it into the post at the campsite, come inside and that light doesn't come on, it means that the power supply isn't working properly. Similarly, if you have power and it goes off, this light, it may well be that there's been a power surge and you need to just check the trip switch under the seat. Please remember to turn this panel off when you leave the motorhome or when you're driving, but if you're in the motorhome it can just stay on and you don't need to touch either of these 2 buttons, they can be on permanently. This panel here is for the boiler and operates the heating and hot water. To turn the panel on, you press this daisy wheel in the middle and it will illuminate the panel. These 4 symbols along here, the first symbol indicates the heating in the motorhome, and to scroll along to the next symbol you just use the daisy wheel to scroll left and right. Flashing thermometer means the hot water. This symbol is the power source because it works either on bottled gas or an electric hookup, and that's your fan speed. When you want to put the heating on, you need to select the power source before you actually put the heating or hot water on. This symbol here indicates that we're on a hookup. So if you wanted to choose gas, then you scroll around to the gas symbol and just press the daisy wheel to select it. Or if you wanted to scroll around to electric 2, that's electric hookup. So when you're at the fuel choice that you want, just press the daisy wheel and then that will accept that fuel. And then you go across to the motorhome symbol and just use the daisy wheel like you would your thermostat at home and just scroll round to the temperature you want and press select. And you'll notice the panel that there will be symbols above the line which now show that the heating's on, that you've selected electric and that the fan speed is 1. If you then want to put the hot water on, you do the same thing. You just scroll around to the temperature that you want. Eco is really just sort of ticking over. Hot water is what you need if you want to have showers. So just select that. And when the symbol is flashing, it means that it's trying to get to temperature. If you have any error symbols come up when you're using this panel, you'll get a little blue symbol, a triangle, warning triangle, just above the daisy wheel. If it's, and it will come up with an E5 fault. If it's a gas fault, you have to wait 15 minutes for that triangle to disappear before you can actually reset the heating. Now the daisy wheel allows you to scroll all the way along to the bottom, but you don't need to worry about the symbols along there. The only symbols that you need to use are the ones on the top. If we select gas and there is no gas supply, then it will come up with a fault. To make sure that you don't have any problems, before you use the heating panel on gas, make sure that the gas is on and that you purge it for 10 seconds by putting the gas ring on, and that will draw the air through the system and allow the gas to get to the boiler. As I say, if you don't do that, then you may get a fault come up to say that there's no gas supply, in which case you just have to wait 15 minutes or use the electric hookup if it's available. But if you do have any problems with the boiler, please just give us a ring, because I understand it is a little bit complex. Now you see that little triangle has come up because I selected gas and we don't have the gas on. So if you wanted to get rid of that after 15 minutes, you just scroll down to it, and if the 15 minutes is up, it will actually disappear and then allow you to go up, reselect the gas, having purged the system, and then the fault will disappear. If you have an electric fault come up because you've chosen electric and there is no power supply, then again it will come up with a fault code, but you either just check the power supply is correct by checking there hasn't been a power surge and it's gone off, or if you don't have a hookup, just go back in and select the gas. But as I say, if you have any problems whatsoever, please give me a ring. Only have the hot water on as and when you need it, because it does get very hot and it's an expansion tank, and if you leave it on, the water will just keep purging if it's not being used. And when you want to turn it off, just scroll back to the symbol, use the daisy wheel until it says off, and then just press select, and make sure that it's all switched off before you travel. To switch the panel off, you hold the daisy wheel in the middle, wait for it to go past the app display, and then when it says off, you can take your finger off and that will turn the panel off. And as I say, please ensure it's off before you travel.